Most people believe that the only way to become rich is by starting a successful business, inheriting money, or taking huge financial risks. Because of this belief, millions of hard-working people remain stuck in the same cycle, earning money, spending it, and constantly worrying about the future. They begin to see their salary as a limitation, something that will never allow them to build real wealth. But the truth is very different. The very paycheck many people believe is holding them back can actually become one of the most powerful tools for building wealth. The real problem isn't your paycheck. The real problem is how that paycheck is used. Every month, countless people work long hours and put in tremendous effort, only to see their money disappear almost as quickly as it arrives. Bills start stacking up, debt continues to grow, and slowly the dreams they once had begin to fade. But this doesn't happen because people don't earn enough. It happens because most people were never taught the real rules of wealth. No one showed them how money truly works. The truth is simple. With the right mindset, the right strategies, and the right daily habits, even an ordinary salary can become the foundation of extraordinary financial freedom. In this audiobook, we will explore how you can take full control of your money, break free from destructive financial habits, and begin using your salary as a tool to create lasting wealth. You will learn how to manage your spending wisely, eliminate debt without feeling overwhelmed, increase your income over time, and most importantly, build your own personal wealth system, one that continues working for you, even while you sleep. This journey is not about quick fixes or get-rich-quick schemes. Instead, it's about building a strong and lasting financial foundation, one step at a time. A foundation that slowly but powerfully transforms your financial future. And by the end of this journey, you will begin to see your paycheck in a completely different way. Not as a limitation, but as a powerful tool for independence, stability, and true financial security. So, take a deep breath, and let's begin. Chapter 1. Face the truth about your money. If you truly want to build wealth with your salary, the first step is facing an uncomfortable truth. You cannot change what you refuse to see. Many people avoid looking closely at their finances because it makes them uneasy. They don't want to confront how much they owe, how much they waste, or how far they may be from reaching their goals. So instead, they keep moving through the same routine: work, get paid, spend, and repeat. But here's the reality. What you ignore will eventually control you. If you don't take control of your money will end up controlling you. The first step toward building wealth isn't earning more money, making investments, or even saving. The very first step is awareness. You must understand exactly where you stand right now, the good, the bad, and the uncomfortable. Think of it like stepping on a scale before starting a fitness journey. You might not like the number staring back at you, but without seeing it, you'll never know what needs to change. This means tracking every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out. And remember, this isn't about judging yourself or feeling ashamed. It's about gaining clarity. Because when you see clearly, you can make wiser decisions. Here's a simple exercise for the next 30 days. Write down every single expense, no matter how small it seems. That coffee you grab on the way to work, write it down. That streaming subscription you barely use, write it down. By the end of the month, you'll have a clear and honest picture of where your salary is actually going. Most people are surprised when they finally see how much of their hard-earned money quietly slips away on things that don't truly matter. Facing the truth also means being honest about the beliefs you carry about money. Maybe you grew up hearing that rich people are greedy,
Maybe someone told you that you'll never have more than just enough to survive. These beliefs can silently hold you back. If deep down you believe money is bad or out of reach, you may unknowingly push it away, even while saying you want more of it. In this chapter, your task is to bring those hidden beliefs into the light and question them. Wealth itself is not evil. It is simply a tool, and like any tool, its impact depends entirely on how it is used. When you finally face the truth about your money, your habits, your numbers, and your mindset, you begin to reclaim your power. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of your paycheck. Instead, you begin to see yourself as the architect of your financial future. At first, this process might feel uncomfortable. You might even feel a little overwhelmed, and that's completely normal. Growth rarely feels comfortable in the beginning. What matters most is that you take this step, because everything we will explore in this audiobook rests on this foundation of truth. Your salary has the potential to become the seed of your financial freedom. But before that seed can grow, it must be planted in the right soil. And that soil begins with complete honesty about where you stand today. Face the truth, and you will be ready to change everything.
Chapter 2. Build a wealth-driven mindset. Before you can grow your bank account, you must first grow your mind. Wealth begins long before it appears in your wallet. It starts with the thoughts you think every single day. If you see money as scarce, difficult to earn, or something that only lucky people have, you will never truly hold on to it. Even if you manage to earn more, you will eventually find ways to lose it, waste it, or unknowingly sabotage your progress. Why does this happen? Because your beliefs shape your behaviors, and your behaviors ultimately shape your results. Think about it this way. Two people can earn exactly the same salary, let's say $5,000 a month. One person gradually builds savings, invests wisely, and creates a future filled with freedom and security. The other remains broke, constantly stressed, and stuck living paycheck to paycheck. The income is the same, yet the outcomes are completely different. The difference isn't the number written on the paycheck. The difference is the mindset guiding the decisions behind that money. One person sees their salary as a tool for growth, while the other sees it as a trap. The real question is, which one are you? If you have spent years believing that wealth is out of reach, then this chapter can become your turning point. The first shift you must make is moving from scarcity thinking to abundance thinking. Scarcity thinking says there is never enough. It whispers thoughts like, "I will always struggle," or "For me to win, someone else must lose." This mindset creates fear, limitation, and constant pressure. Abundance thinking, on the other hand, says there is always a way forward. It believes that growth is possible and that you can create more than you currently have. When you truly believe that wealth is possible, your perspective begins to change. You start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. Instead of feeling powerless, you begin to feel capable and in control. One of the most damaging beliefs many people carry is the idea that they must earn more money before they can start building wealth. They say things like, "I'll start saving when I get a raise," or "I'll invest once I have extra money." But the truth is simple. If you cannot manage $500 wisely, you will not magically manage $5,000 any better. Money does not change your habits. It simply magnifies who you already are. Building wealth has far less to do with how much you earn and far more to do with how you manage what you already have. This means you do not need to wait for a perfect moment in the future. You can begin today, no matter what your current salary looks like. To build a wealth-driven mindset, you must also understand the power of delayed gratification. In simple terms, this means choosing a small sacrifice today in exchange for a much greater reward tomorrow.
Many people remain financially stuck because they want everything immediately: the newest phone, the expensive car, the luxury nights out. Often, these things are paid for with debt or by draining savings that could have built their future. Wealthy individuals tend to think differently. They are patient. They are willing to say "not yet" because they are focused on creating something bigger over time. Every dollar they choose not to spend today becomes a seed planted for future freedom. Just imagine how different your life could look 5 years from now if you consistently planted those seeds instead of consuming them. Here's a simple exercise that can help reshape your thinking. Take a moment to visualize the person you want to become financially. Close your eyes and picture yourself 5 or 10 years from now, debt-free, financially secure, and confident about your future. Think about the habits that version of you has. How do they think about money? What kind of decisions do they make each day? Now ask yourself a powerful question. What would that future version of me want me to do right now? When you start making decisions from the perspective of your future self, your present actions naturally begin to align with long-term wealth. Another important part of developing a wealth-driven mindset is surrounding yourself with the right voices and influences. If the people around you constantly complain about money, live only for payday, and spend carelessly, staying disciplined will become much harder. Instead, seek out people who think differently, people who think bigger. Read books, listen to podcasts, and learn from mentors who understand the language of wealth. Even if you never meet them personally, their words and ideas can still shape your thinking in powerful ways. Remember, your environment strongly influences what you believe is possible. When you change your environment, you also change your expectations for your own life. Finally, understand that building wealth is not only about numbers, it's about identity. You must begin to see yourself as someone who is capable of creating and managing wealth. If deep down you believe that you are bad with money, or that you are simply not the type of person who becomes rich, your actions will quietly reinforce that belief. Starting today, begin speaking differently about yourself and your financial future. Tell yourself, "I am someone who makes smart financial decisions. I am building a wealthy future." At first, these words might feel unfamiliar or even uncomfortable, but over time, your actions will begin to rise and align with the beliefs you repeat. This mindset shift will not happen overnight. Years of old beliefs cannot disappear instantly, but every time you choose to think like someone who builds wealth instead of someone who simply spends their paycheck, you strengthen that new mental muscle. With practice, that way of thinking becomes natural, and when it does, everything else you'll learn in this audiobook, saving money, investing wisely, and increasing your income, will become far easier to apply. Your salary may not have changed yet, but something more important has started to change: you. And that internal shift is the spark that ignites everything else. Wealth is always built in the mind first, and only afterward in the bank account. When you commit to developing a wealth-driven mindset, you stop being limited by the size of your paycheck and start being guided by the size of your vision. And this is the moment where your true journey towards financial freedom truly begins.
Chapter 3. Break the salary trap. Most people are stuck in what I call the salary trap. It's the belief that your paycheck is both your prison and your only lifeline. You work hard, the money comes in, the bills go out, and before you even realize it, the cycle begins again. Month after month, year after year, nothing really changes. You tell yourself, if I could just earn a little more, things would get better. Then eventually you receive a raise, and for a short time it feels like relief. But somehow that extra money disappears too. Why does this happen? Because the real problem isn't only how much you earn, it's how you think about your salary. The salary trap has two main parts. The first is dependence. Your job slowly becomes your only source of security, so you hold on to it tightly.
You become afraid to take risks, afraid to say no, and sometimes even afraid to dream bigger because you cannot imagine life without that paycheck. The second part is consumption. Almost everything you earn gets spent, and you justify it by telling yourself it's normal because everyone around you is doing the same thing. This combination quietly keeps you stuck. On the surface, it feels safe because the income is steady, but in reality, it's like walking on a tightrope without a safety net. One layoff, one medical emergency, or one economic downturn could suddenly shake your entire financial world. To break free from this trap, you must start seeing your salary in a completely different way. Your job is not the final destination, it's the launch pad. Your paycheck is not meant to simply fund today's lifestyle. It's meant to help build tomorrow's freedom. Think of your salary as a tool, a powerful tool, but only if you choose to use it wisely. Most people use their salary just to survive. Wealthy people use their salary to create options. The difference lies in the plan behind the money. Here's a powerful mental shift that can change everything. Instead of saying, "I worked to pay my bills," start saying, "I worked to buy my freedom." Every time you receive a paycheck, you're holding a piece of potential freedom in your hands. The real question becomes this: how much of that freedom will you keep for yourself, and how much will you hand over to landlords, lenders, retailers, and restaurants? If you spend it all, you've traded your freedom for short-lived pleasures. But if you save and invest even a portion of it, you take a step toward independence. Breaking the salary trap also requires you to stop tying your entire identity to your job title or income level. Too many people measure their worth by their position or their paycheck. That way of thinking quietly keeps you trapped because it pushes you to chase external validation rather than focus on internal growth. Always remember this: your job is something you do, not who you are. Your salary is a resource, it is not a reflection of your human value. One practical way to escape this trap is to create distance between yourself and your salary. Here's how it works. When your paycheck arrives, don't allow it to immediately disappear into bills and everyday expenses. Instead, move a portion of that money into a separate account that stays completely out of sight. Think of it as your freedom fund. Even if it's only 5% at the beginning, treat that money as untouchable. Over time, you can increase the percentage. The important part is building the habit. By separating that money, both symbolically and practically, you begin taking control of your future. You are no longer working only for survival. You are working for freedom. Another important step is to start looking beyond your job. Yes, your salary matters, but it should never become your only source of income. Many wealthy people use their paycheck as fuel to build other income streams. These might include side hustles, investments, or small businesses. They don't have to be massive or complicated in the beginning. Even a small additional stream of income can change everything because it shifts your mindset. Suddenly you realize you are not trapped anymore. You have options. Of course, breaking the salary trap does not happen overnight. It's a gradual process. First, you become aware of the trap itself. Then you start taking small but intentional steps to climb out of it. That might mean saying no to unnecessary spending. It might mean automating your savings, or finally learning how to invest. It could even mean having uncomfortable conversations about money with your family, or setting clearer boundaries at work. Each small step builds momentum. Now imagine your life 5 years from today. You may still have a job, perhaps even the same one, but everything feels different. You have savings sitting safely in the bank. Your investments are quietly growing in the background. Maybe you have a side hustle bringing in extra income each month. You are no longer terrified of losing your job because you've built a financial cushion beneath you. That is what freedom truly feels like. It doesn't necessarily mean quitting your job tomorrow. It means having enough control over your money that you can decide what comes next. The salary trap holds millions of people in place, but you do not have to be one of them. When you start seeing your paycheck as a tool, when you separate a portion of it for freedom, and when you begin using it to build assets instead of simply paying for liabilities, something powerful begins to happen. The very thing that once kept you trapped becomes the engine that moves you forward. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter and thinking bigger. Your salary is not the end of your story. In many ways, it is only the beginning of something far greater.
Chapter 4. Master the first hour of your paycheck. The first hour of your paycheck can determine the direction of your entire financial future. That may sound dramatic, but it's more true than most people realize. Many people believe wealth is created through huge, life-changing moments, landing a massive raise, winning the lottery, or building $1 million business. But in reality, wealth is built through small, quiet decisions made consistently over time. And one of the most powerful decisions you will ever make is what you do with the very first portion of the money you earn. Here's the unfortunate reality. For most people, their paycheck is already spent before it even arrives. Bills, debts, subscriptions, and impulse purchases are all waiting in line. It's as if the money never had a chance. Many people barely experience the satisfaction of earning their income because it flows straight through their hands and into someone else's pocket. Landlords get paid, credit card companies get paid, retailers and restaurants get paid. Everyone gets paid before you do. If you truly want to change your financial life, you have to flip that pattern completely. You must learn to pay yourself first. Paying yourself first is not just a catchy phrase, it's a powerful shift in mindset. It is a clear declaration that your future matters more than your present impulses. It means that before you pay a single bill, before you buy anything extra, you take a portion of your paycheck and set it aside for yourself. Not for spending, not for splurging, but for saving and building wealth. That money becomes the seed of your financial freedom, the foundation that will eventually grow into investments, security, and independence. Why does this approach work so well? Because if you wait until after you've paid everyone else to start saving, there will almost never be anything left. Life has a way of expanding to fill every dollar available. The more money you earn, the more opportunities you'll find to spend it, unless you create a clear and non-negotiable rule for yourself. Think of it like a tax, but instead of the government taking it, you claim it for your own future. You might be asking yourself, how much should I set aside? If you're starting from the beginning, start small, just 5% of your paycheck. It may sound like nothing, but it's enough to build the habit. Once that habit feels natural, you can increase it over time to 10%, then 15%, and eventually even 20%. The exact number is less important than the consistency behind it. The goal is to create a ritual. Every time money comes in, you immediately move a portion of it into a separate account, ideally one that is a little harder to access so you are not tempted to dip into it. At first, this might feel uncomfortable. You may worry that there won't be enough left for bills or everyday expenses. That feeling is completely normal. But here's what usually happens. You adapt. Once that portion of your income is removed first, your mind naturally begins to adjust to living on what remains. Without even realizing it, you start making smarter choices with your spending. This is why paying yourself first works so well. It forces you to prioritize your future while still managing your present. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine you earn $3,000 a month. If you commit to paying yourself 10% first, that means $300 is set aside immediately. Over the course of 1 year, even without interest, you would have saved $3,600. Now imagine doing that for 5 years while also investing part of it. Suddenly, you have built a meaningful financial foundation, all from small and consistent actions. Many people underestimate the power of this kind of discipline because they're focused on instant results. But wealth usually grows slowly at first, and then it accelerates later.
Here's another helpful strategy. Automate the process. Set up your direct deposit so that a percentage of your paycheck automatically moves into savings or investments the moment you get paid. That way, the money never even appears in your spending account. It becomes invisible, out of sight and out of mind, quietly working for you in the background. This removes the temptation to spend it and turns wealth building into something almost effortless. But paying yourself first isn't only about money, it's also about identity. Every time you do it, you are sending a powerful message to yourself. I am someone who values my future. I am someone who builds wealth. That psychological shift is just as important as the financial one. It strengthens your confidence and gives you a deeper sense of control over your life. There is one important thing you must avoid, however. Do not treat this first-hour money as an emergency fund created by poor planning. This money is sacred. If a true emergency appears, you can address it carefully, but do not dip into it for small splurges or minor inconveniences. Treat it like the most important bill you will ever pay, because it is the bill for your freedom. Think of your paycheck like a stream of water. If you don't redirect part of that stream into a reservoir, it will simply flow away and leave you dry when you need it most. By mastering the first hour of your paycheck, you begin creating that reservoir, a growing pool of security and opportunity. At the beginning, it may seem small, but with time, it grows into something powerful and life-changing. This simple habit can be the line between staying stuck and finally moving forward. Most people will continue paying everyone else first and then wonder why they never seem to get ahead. But you will be different. You will pay yourself first. You will build a solid foundation. And over time, you will watch your salary transform from a temporary paycheck into a permanent source of freedom. This is how you stop living only for payday and start living for your future.
Chapter 5. Destroy debt and build safety at the same time. Debt is like a silent thief. It enters your life quietly, one small purchase at a time. And before you even realize it, it begins stealing pieces of your future. At first, it feels harmless. A quick swipe of a credit card here, a small personal loan there, maybe a car payment that seemed perfectly manageable at the time. But slowly, the weight of interest begins to grow. Before long, you may find yourself working not for your own goals, but for the banks and lenders who now claim a portion of your paycheck. If you've ever felt as though you're drowning financially, this is often the reason. Debt doesn't just take your money, it slowly takes your freedom. Here's where things become tricky. Many people who try to escape debt make a serious mistake. They attack their debt so aggressively that they leave themselves completely exposed. They throw every extra dollar toward their balances, believing that this is the smartest move. But then life happens. A car breaks down, a medical bill appears, a job setback occurs. Suddenly, there is no cash available to handle the situation. What happens next? The credit card comes out again. And just like that, they are back at the very beginning of the cycle. It becomes like running on a treadmill, endless effort, but no real progress. That is why this chapter focuses on a different approach. It's not just about eliminating debt, it's about building financial safety at the same time. Real freedom doesn't come from briefly reaching zero debt. Real freedom comes from staying out of debt permanently. The first step is understanding the type of debt you have. Not all debt is the same. There is bad debt, things like high-interest credit cards, payday loans, or financing for items that immediately lose value the moment you buy them. This is the most dangerous form of debt because it grows quickly and slowly drains your paycheck like a leak in a bucket. Then there is neutral debt, such as a car loan or a low-interest student loan. While it's not ideal, it usually doesn't harm your finances as quickly when handled responsibly. Finally, there is productive debt, This includes things like a carefully planned mortgage or a business loan that has the potential to generate more income than it costs. For now, however, our focus is on the most harmful type, bad debt, the kind that keeps you stuck. The strategy begins in a way that may feel surprising. Before you aggressively attack your debt, you build a small emergency fund. At first, this may seem backward. You might be thinking, shouldn't I pay off the debt first? But remember, without a safety cushion, the first unexpected expense will push you right back toward the credit cards you were trying to escape. Start with a modest goal, perhaps $500 or $1,000 if possible. This isn't meant to be a full savings account yet. It's simply a protective shield, a small buffer between you and the next financial surprise. Keep this money in a separate account so that it's ready when life throws an unexpected challenge your way. Once that basic safety net is in place, it's time to confront your debt with focus and determination. Begin by listing every single debt you owe, no matter how small. Seeing the full number might sting at first, but it's an important step. It transforms a vague sense of worry into something clear and manageable. From there, you can choose a strategy that works best for you. Some people prefer the avalanche method, where you focus on paying extra toward the debt with the highest interest rate first. This approach saves the most money over the long term. Others prefer the snowball method, where they eliminate the smallest debts first to gain quick victories and build momentum. The specific method matters less than your commitment to stay consistent and refuse to stop until the job is done. During this period of paying down debt, it's essential to avoid creating new debt. This might require temporarily reducing certain expenses or delaying purchases that aren't truly necessary. It isn't meant to last forever. Think of it as a focused season, a sprint toward freedom. You might need to decline a few social outings or pass on the latest gadgets for a while. It may feel difficult at times, but remember that every no you say today becomes a much bigger yes tomorrow. You are not depriving yourself, you are setting yourself free. Picture your debt as a heavy chain wrapped around your ankle. Each extra payment you make is like striking that chain with a hammer. Some strikes may barely leave a mark, while others begin to create cracks. But eventually, one powerful strike shatters the chain completely. On that day, you finally walk free. And when that moment arrives, every sacrifice you made along the way will feel worthwhile. The final step in this process is strengthening your safety net as your debt begins to disappear. Whenever you fully pay off a debt, take the amount you were previously paying each month and redirect it towards savings or investments instead of allowing it to disappear into lifestyle upgrades. This simple step prevents old habits from creeping back into your life. Over time, the small emergency fund you started with begins to grow into a powerful financial fortress, one that protects you from falling back into debt again. Debt does not have to define your story. It doesn't matter how much you currently owe or how long you have felt stuck. What truly matters is the decision to take control again, one step at a time. Build your safety cushion, attack your debts strategically, and make a personal commitment that you will never return to the same cycle again. At first, the process may seem slow, but with every payment you make, you reclaim another piece of your freedom. And one day, something remarkable will happen. You will wake up and realize that your paycheck belongs entirely to you. No credit card companies, no lenders, no silent thief taking a share of your hard work. Just you, your money, and the endless possibilities of a future built on choices instead of chains. That day is coming, and the journey toward it begins right now.
Chapter 6. Transform expenses into investments. Most people think of expenses as something that simply happens to them. Rent, groceries, phone bills, entertainment, money comes in, money goes out, and they accept it as a normal part of life. But here's the truth. Every dollar you spend carries power. It can either keep you trapped in a cycle of consumption, or it can move you one step closer to financial freedom. The real skill is learning how to transform your expenses into investments so your money works for you instead of quietly disappearing into things that give nothing back. Think about the last month of your spending. How much of that money went toward things that helped you grow, increase your earning potential, or improve your future? And how much went toward temporary pleasures, meals you barely remember, gadgets now collecting dust, or subscriptions you forgot you even had? Most of us spend far more on short-term comfort than on long-term growth. That's one of the biggest reasons people remain financially stuck no matter how much their income increases. Transforming expenses into investments begins with a simple shift in perspective. Stop seeing money as something that must be used up and start seeing it as something that can be planted. Think of it like a farmer planting seeds. When a farmer plants seeds, they don't expect immediate results. They prepare the soil, water it, and patiently wait for growth. Money works in a very similar way. When you direct it toward things that create future value, it multiplies over time. But when you spend it carelessly, it disappears, and along with it goes your opportunity. Let's break this down into practical steps. Start by examining your recurring expenses. These are often the silent drains on your finances, small payments that feel insignificant on their own, but slowly add up over time. Streaming services, delivery apps, unused gym memberships, extra data plans, these things quietly chip away at your paycheck month after month without delivering lasting value. Take a close look at your bank statements and cancel anything that isn't truly serving your life. That extra $50 or $100 each month may not seem like much, but when redirected towards savings or investments, it can become surprisingly powerful. Next, take a closer look at your largest expenses: housing, transportation, and food. For most people, these three categories consume the majority of their income. The goal here isn't to deprive yourself of comfort or convenience, but to optimize your choices. Could you live in a slightly less expensive place for a year or two while building your financial foundation? Could you drive a reliable used car instead of committing to a large monthly car payment? Could you cook more meals at home rather than eating out frequently? These decisions may not feel glamorous, but they create something extremely valuable: breathing room. And that breathing room can be used to build wealth. Here is where the real transformation begins. Once you free up extra money, don't allow it to drift into random spending. Redirect it intentionally toward real investments. This might mean strengthening your emergency fund, contributing to a retirement account, or starting a simple investment portfolio. It could also mean investing in yourself, learning new skills, taking courses, or buying books that expand your knowledge and opportunities. These are the types of expenses that eventually pay you back. They turn today's discipline into tomorrow's opportunity. Consider a simple example. Imagine you cancel a few subscriptions and reduce how often you dine out, saving about $200 each month. Instead of letting that money disappear into random purchases, you invest it consistently. In 1 year, you've saved $2,400. Over 5 years, even with modest investment growth, that amount could grow to more than $13,000. That is the power of redirecting expenses into investments. Small, consistent decisions repeated over time create remarkable results. Another helpful way to think about spending is to ask a simple question before making a purchase. Is this an asset or a liability? An asset adds value to your life or your future. A liability quietly takes value away. For example, buying a new pair of shoes might feel exciting in the moment, but does it truly move you closer to financial freedom? Probably not. On the other hand, purchasing a course that teaches you a skill that could generate additional income, that is an asset. The same dollar can either trap you or free you, depending on how you choose to use it. This doesn't mean you must live like a monk or eliminate enjoyment from your life. The goal is balance and intention. You can still enjoy entertainment, travel, or small luxuries, but you do it consciously. Perhaps you set aside a specific budget each month for fun activities and spend that money guilt-free, knowing that the majority of your income is working toward your future. The real problem isn't spending money, it's spending without purpose. Here's a powerful exercise you can try over the next month. Track every dollar you spend and categorize it as either investment or consumption. Be completely honest with yourself. When you see your spending laid out clearly, patterns will begin to appear. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Gradually shift more and more of your money into the investment category. Even small improvements build momentum, and momentum is one of the most powerful forces in wealth building. When you begin thinking this way, something remarkable happens. You stop feeling like a victim of your bills and start feeling like the master of your money. You realize that you don't have to wait for a bigger salary or a lucky break. You can begin creating freedom right now, simply by making wiser choices with the money you already earn. That realization is empowering, and in the best possible way, it becomes addictive. Every dollar has a purpose. It can either disappear into the past, paying for something you barely remember, or it can help build a future you're excited to live. The choice is yours. When you learn to transform expenses into investments, you begin to see your ordinary paycheck differently. It is no longer just money coming and going. It becomes the foundation of an extraordinary life.
Chapter 7. Create your personal wealth machine. Imagine a machine that quietly works for you day and night. While you're sleeping, working, or spending time with your family, this machine continues building your future. It never complains, it never takes vacations, and it never gets tired. It simply keeps growing your money little by little until one day you wake up and realize you've created real financial freedom. That's what a personal wealth machine is. It isn't magic, and it isn't reserved for the rich. It's simply a system, a set of automatic processes that take the money you earn and put it to work so you don't have to constantly think about it. Most people never build a wealth machine. Instead, they rely on willpower alone. They promise themselves they'll save whatever's left at the end of the month, invest when they finally get around to it, or cut back on spending once life settles down. But life rarely settles down, does it? There's always another bill, another unexpected expense, another temptation waiting around the corner. As a result, even with the best intentions, people remain trapped in the cycle of working hard but having little to show for it. The real problem isn't that they don't earn enough. The problem is that they don't have a system. Think of it this way. Your salary is the fuel, but the wealth machine is the engine. Without an engine, all that fuel simply goes to waste. So the goal now is to build that engine step by step. The first part of your wealth machine is automation. Automation is incredibly powerful because it removes emotion from financial decisions. When your money choices depend on how you feel in the moment, comfort will almost always win over discipline. But when savings, investments, and bill payments happen automatically, willpower is no longer required. Everything runs like clockwork before you even have the chance to spend impulsively. Here's how it works. The moment your paycheck arrives, a percentage is automatically transferred into separate accounts. One account is dedicated to savings, your safety net for unexpected situations. Another account is for investments, your long-term growth and future wealth. The remaining money stays in your checking account to cover bills and everyday spending. By setting up these transfers to happen automatically, you ensure your most important priorities are handled before your impulses have a say. This is how wealth begins to grow quietly in the background while you continue living your life. The second part of your wealth machine is structure.
Think of your finances as a set of separate buckets. Each bucket has a specific purpose. There's an emergency bucket for unexpected expenses, a retirement bucket for long-term growth, an opportunity bucket for future investments or business ideas, and a lifestyle bucket for your current needs and wants. When you clearly define these buckets, you stop mixing everything together and wondering where your money went. Every dollar has a purpose, and every purpose has a destination. The third part of the machine is growth. Saving money alone will not make you wealthy. At some point, your money must begin working for you. This means investing steadily, wisely, and consistently. You don't need to be a stock market expert, and you don't need to take huge risks. In fact, simple and proven strategies often work best. Even small amounts invested regularly can grow into something powerful thanks to compound growth. When you combine automatic contributions with steady investing, your wealth machine begins running almost entirely on its own. For example, imagine setting up your system so that 15% of every paycheck automatically goes into an investment account. You don't touch it, and eventually you barely notice it. Over time, that account slowly grows. Years pass, and one day you check the balance and realize it has grown into a six-figure amount. You didn't have to fight temptation every month or remember to move the money manually. The system handled the work for you. That's the beauty of a wealth machine. It operates quietly in the background while you focus on living your life. The final part of your wealth machine is protection. Every machine needs maintenance and safeguards. In financial terms, this means having the right insurance, keeping some cash available for emergencies, and occasionally reviewing your plan to ensure it still aligns with your goals. Protection also means guarding your mindset. Fear and greed can easily push people into rash decisions that disrupt years of progress. Instead, stick with your plan, trust the process, and remember that building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. At the beginning, creating this system might feel like extra work. You'll need to open accounts, set up automatic transfers, and decide how much of your paycheck should go into each category. But once the system is in place, it actually simplifies your life. It saves time and mental energy because you no longer have to constantly worry about money decisions. The system handles them for you. Over time, this brings something incredibly valuable: peace of mind, and eventually, freedom. Imagine a future where you no longer hope that everything will work out financially. Instead, you know it will. Not because of luck or a sudden windfall, but because you built a system designed to grow wealth consistently no matter what happens. That future is possible, and it begins with the money you already earn. Your salary doesn't have to be just another paycheck. It can become the fuel for a machine that quietly, steadily, and relentlessly builds the life you've always dreamed about. Build your wealth machine today and let it work for you for the rest of your life.
Chapter 8. Earn beyond your paycheck. Your salary is important. It keeps the lights on, pays the bills, and provides a sense of stability. But here's the hard truth. If your only source of income is your paycheck, your financial life will always have limits. Your time is finite. There are only so many hours you can work in a day. And when your income depends entirely on trading those hours for dollars, you will eventually reach a ceiling. That is the reality many people face in the modern world, and it's one of the main reasons so many hard-working individuals feel stuck no matter how much effort they put in. Think of your salary as a single stream of water flowing into a bucket. As long as the stream continues, the bucket fills. But if that stream suddenly stops because of a job loss, illness, or an economic downturn, your entire financial system is at risk. Now imagine a different scenario. Instead of one stream, you have 2, 3, or even 5 streams flowing into that same bucket. If one slows down or dries up, the others continue to flow. This is the true power of earning beyond your paycheck.
This idea does not mean quitting your job tomorrow or chasing unrealistic dreams. It simply means using your current salary as a stable foundation while you slowly and steadily build additional sources of income. These extra streams give you flexibility, security, and eventually freedom. The encouraging part is that you do not have to start big. In fact, most successful secondary income streams begin very small, almost invisible in the beginning. Perhaps you start by earning an extra $100 a month through a side activity. At first, that amount may seem insignificant, but it represents something much more important than the money itself. It proves that you can earn outside your main job. And once you see that possibility, your mindset begins to expand. You realize that you're not trapped, you have options. So where should you begin? The first step is to look inward. Consider the skills, talents, and interests you already have that could provide value to others. Perhaps you are good at writing, teaching, repairing things, organizing tasks, or solving specific problems. Maybe you possess knowledge in an area that others would be willing to pay to learn. The modern world, especially through the internet, has opened countless opportunities to turn these abilities into income. Freelancing, online tutoring, consulting, and creating digital products are just a few of the many ways people monetize their skills today. The goal is not to reinvent yourself completely. Instead, it's about packaging what you already know in a way that helps other people. The second step is to start small and keep things simple. Many people never take action because they believe their idea must be perfect or massive right from the beginning. They imagine building a huge business overnight. When that expectation feels overwhelming, they end up doing nothing at all. Avoid that trap. Begin with something manageable alongside your job, perhaps a few hours each week with minimal cost and low risk. The goal is not instant wealth. The goal is to build a second stream of income and develop the habit of earning beyond your paycheck. Here's another powerful way to approach this. Use your salary to help fund your side venture. Most people spend their entire paycheck on consumption, bills, groceries, entertainment, and purchases that disappear by the end of the month. You can choose a different path. Instead of spending every dollar for consumption, take a portion of your income and invest it into creating something that will eventually generate more money. This might mean buying tools, software, or training. It could involve building a small website or advertising your services. Instead of spending simply to consume, you begin spending to create, and that's where true wealth begins. Another avenue worth exploring is passive income. Passive income is not completely effortless, but it does allow you to separate your earnings from the number of hours you work. Examples include dividend-paying investments, rental properties, digital products, or affiliate marketing. These income streams often require time and effort to set up, but once they're established, they can continue generating income with relatively little ongoing work. Imagine waking up one morning and checking your account only to see that money arrived while you were sleeping. That experience can be life-changing, not just because of the money itself, but because of the freedom it represents. Of course, building additional income requires discipline. It may involve sacrificing some short-term comfort. Perhaps you watch less television or wake up an hour earlier to work on your project. Maybe you skip a few nights out so you can save money for your investment. These sacrifices may feel difficult in the moment, but they're small compared to the stress of relying completely on a single paycheck. When you focus on the long-term picture, the trade-off becomes more than worthwhile. Consistency is the real key. Many people start with enthusiasm but lose motivation when results do not appear immediately. Don't expect overnight success. Instead, focus on steady progress. An extra $100 a month can grow into $300, then thousands, and eventually even more. Over time, that additional income can give you opportunities you never imagined. It might allow you to pay off debt faster,
build savings more quickly, or reduce the hours you spend at your main job. In some cases, it can even grow large enough to replace your salary entirely. But the most important shift is this: earning beyond your paycheck is not only about money, it's about freedom and security. When you have multiple sources of income, you no longer feel trapped. You're not constantly worried about losing your job because you know there are other ways for you to support yourself and your family. You gain confidence, peace of mind, and the ability to make decisions based on what truly matters to you, not simply what pays the bills. Your job can remain your foundation, but it doesn't have to become your prison. Use it as a launch pad to build something greater. Start small, stay consistent, and keep your focus on the future you want to create. Over time, you'll look back and realize that you have built something powerful. A life where income flows from multiple directions and your freedom expands with every dollar. That's the true meaning of earning beyond your paycheck.
Chapter 9. Grow money while you sleep. Imagine waking up in the morning and realizing you made money overnight. Not because you worked extra hours or took on another job, but because your money was out there working for you. That's not a fantasy. It's exactly how wealthy people build lasting freedom. They don't just trade their time for money. They make their money work harder than they do. And the truth is, you can do the same thing, even if you're starting with a small salary. Here's the secret. You don't need to be rich to start investing. You become rich by investing. The biggest mistake most people make is waiting. They tell themselves, I'll start when I have extra money, or I'll invest when I'm earning more. But that day rarely comes. Life always finds a way to fill every dollar you earn. The sooner you begin, even with small amounts, the more time your money has to grow. This is the power of compound growth, one of the most powerful forces in the financial world. Think of compound growth like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's tiny, almost laughably small, but as it rolls, it gathers more snow, and then more, and soon it becomes massive and unstoppable. Your money works the same way. In the beginning, the first few months or even years may not look impressive, but over time, the growth begins to accelerate, and eventually it becomes extraordinary. That's why the most important factor in investing isn't the size of your first investment. It's the consistency you maintain and the time you give it to grow. Now let's clear up a common fear. Investing doesn't have to be complicated or risky. You don't need to stay glued to financial news or constantly guess which stock will skyrocket next. The most successful wealth builders keep things simple. They focus on steady, proven strategies that have stood the test of time. For most people, that means starting with something as basic as a low-cost index fund or a retirement account. These tools are designed to grow gradually over the years without the stress of constant buying and selling. You set it up, contribute regularly, and let time do the heavy lifting. Here's a simple example. Let's say you start investing just $150 a month, the cost of a few dinners out or a couple of streaming subscriptions. At first, it might feel like a drop in the bucket, but after 10 years of steady growth, that money could turn into tens of thousands of dollars. Continue the habit for 20 years, and you could be looking at a six-figure nest egg, all built from one small, consistent habit. The earlier you start, the more powerful the results become. But here's the key: make it automatic. Just like we talked about with paying yourself first, set up automatic transfers so a portion of your paycheck goes directly into your investments. That way, you don't have to rely on willpower or memory. It simply happens, like clockwork. And because you never see that money sitting in your everyday account, you're far less tempted to spend it. Over time, you'll barely notice the money leaving your account, but you will definitely notice the wealth it quietly creates. Of course, investing isn't only about financial growth, it's also about peace of mind. Knowing that your money is steadily growing in the background changes the way you think about work and life. You're no longer relying entirely on your next paycheck to feel secure. Instead, you begin to experience a deeper sense of stability and freedom, even if you haven't reached your final goals yet. That confidence alone can be life-changing. Now let's talk about patience, because this is where many people struggle. They expect quick results. When they don't see immediate growth, they panic or give up. But investing is much more like planting a tree. You don't dig up the seed every week just to check if it's growing. You plant it, water it, and trust the process. With enough time, that tiny seed becomes a strong, unshakable tree, one that provides shade and fruit for years to come. Your money works the same way. Give it time, and it will reward you. As your investments grow, resist the temptation to pull the money out for short-term pleasures. This is one of the hardest but most important disciplines to develop. Remember why you started. This money isn't meant for a quick splurge. It's meant for your future freedom. The longer you leave it alone, the more powerful it becomes. Growing money while you sleep is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. It reduces the pressure on your job and creates a level of stability that few people ever experience. Even if you start small, you're planting seeds that will one day grow into a forest of financial security. And one day, you'll wake up and realize something incredible. You no longer work because you have to. You work because you choose to. That's the moment you truly understand what wealth really means. Not just money in the bank, but the freedom to live life on your own terms. So start today. Take whatever you can, no matter how small, and put it to work. Then let time and consistency do the rest. This is how ordinary people living on ordinary salaries build extraordinary futures, by learning how to grow money while they sleep.
Sometimes it's not what you earn that matters most. It's what you keep. You can work hard, save consistently, and even invest wisely, yet still feel like you're standing still financially. And the reason is something I call silent wealth killers. These are hidden forces that quietly eat away at your money while you're busy living your life. They don't show up like a big, obvious expense. Instead, they operate quietly in the background, nibbling away at your future one small bite at a time. If you don't recognize them and stop them, you'll always feel like you're running a race you can't win. The first silent killer is inflation. Inflation is sneaky because it happens slowly. Over time, the price of almost everything rises. Food, housing, healthcare, transportation. $1 today simply won't buy as much tomorrow. And if your money isn't growing at least as fast as inflation, you're actually losing wealth, even if you don't realize it. That's why leaving large amounts of cash sitting in a regular savings account isn't a long-term solution. Your money needs to grow. It needs to be invested so it can not only keep up with inflation, but actually outpace it. Otherwise, one day you'll look at your hard-earned savings and wonder why they don't stretch nearly as far as they used to. The second silent killer is taxes. Now, paying taxes is part of being a responsible citizen, but overpaying simply because you don't understand the rules, that's something entirely different, and it's completely avoidable. Every year, many people lose thousands of dollars simply because they don't take advantage of tax-advantaged accounts, deductions, or credits. I'm not talking about shady loopholes. I'm talking about using the legitimate tools available to you, things like retirement accounts, health savings accounts, and proper expense tracking. A little education in this area can save you an enormous amount of money over a lifetime, because in the end, it's not just about how much you earn, it's about how much you get to keep after taxes. Next, let's talk about fees. This one is almost invisible, which is what makes it so dangerous. Think about your bank accounts, credit cards, and investment accounts. Are there monthly maintenance fees, overdraft fees, or high transaction fees quietly draining your money?
Many people barely notice them because the amount seems small, $5 here, $10 there. But over time, these tiny leaks add up. They can cost you hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Investment fees can be especially harmful because they don't just take money once, they reduce your growth year after year, compounding the loss over time. That's why it's so important to read the fine print and choose low-cost options whenever possible. Your future self will be incredibly grateful you did. Another silent wealth killer is lifestyle creep. This one doesn't arrive with a bill or a warning. It shows up quietly, often disguised as rewarding yourself. You get a raise and suddenly your expenses rise to match it. A nicer car, more dinners out, a bigger home. Before you realize it, the extra income you worked so hard to earn has disappeared into a more expensive version of the same life you had before. Lifestyle creep feels good in the moment, but over time it robs you of the opportunity to turn that extra income into lasting wealth. The solution isn't to deny yourself every pleasure, it's simply to be intentional. When your income increases, try keeping your core lifestyle the same for a while. Instead of upgrading everything immediately, direct most of that new money towards savings or investments. That's how a raise becomes a step towards freedom rather than just another set of financial obligations. One of the most common wealth killers is impulse spending. It's usually not the big planned purchases that cause financial problems. It's the small, unplanned ones, the quick coffee run, the online sale you didn't plan for, the just this once moments that somehow happen again and again. Each purchase feels harmless on its own, but together they create a powerful drain on your financial progress. The solution isn't to remove joy from your life, it's simply to create a pause before you buy. Ask yourself one simple question: does this align with my long-term goals? That small moment of awareness can save you thousands of dollars over time. And finally, there's one more silent killer: fear and inaction. This one doesn't directly take money out of your account, but it can be just as destructive. Fear of investing, fear of making mistakes, fear of trying something new. These fears keep people stuck in place while the world continues to move forward. Doing nothing may feel safe, but in reality, it's often the riskiest choice of all. Inflation continues to rise, opportunities continue to pass by, and your dreams quietly move further into the future. The cure for this silent killer is education and small, consistent action. The more you learn, the more confident you become, and the more you take action, even small steps, the less power fear has over you. Here's the encouraging part about identifying these silent killers. Once you see them clearly, you can stop them. Start by tracking where your money goes. Look for patterns. Look for leaks. Have honest conversations with yourself about lifestyle creep and impulse spending. Take time to understand how taxes and fees affect your finances. And most importantly, replace fear with informed action. You don't need to fix everything overnight. Just pick one area and start improving it. That single change will build momentum, and that momentum will help you tackle the rest. Wealth isn't built by luck or chance. It's built through thousands of small, intentional decisions made over time. When you stop the silent wealth killers, you take control of those decisions. You make sure your hard work actually benefits you rather than quietly slipping away. Imagine how different your life could look 5 or 10 years from now if you simply protected what you've already earned. That's the power of awareness. Silent killers only win when they stay hidden. Today, you've brought them into the light, and now the next move is yours. Guard your money wisely. Treat every dollar like a worker building your future. When you do that, your wealth will begin to grow, not just because you're earning more, but because you're finally keeping what's already yours. Chapter 11. Advance your career like a strategist.
Your salary is directly tied to the value you bring to the marketplace. The more value you provide, the more leverage you have to earn more. Yet many people spend their entire careers drifting, working hard, showing up every day, but never truly strategizing about how to grow their income. They wait for their boss to notice them, hope for a raise, or assume that loyalty alone will be rewarded. Unfortunately, that's not how the modern world works. If you want to maximize your salary and use it as a true wealth-building tool, you have to approach your career like a strategist, not just a worker. Think of your career like a chess game. Most people move one step at a time, reacting to whatever comes their way. A strategist, on the other hand, looks several moves ahead. They don't focus only on their current position. They think about where they want to be in 5 years, and then they plan backward. That's how you need to approach your professional life. Stop asking, how do I survive this month? And start asking, how do I position myself to double my earning power over the next few years? The first step is to know your value. Too many people undervalue themselves because they've never paused to truly assess their skills, contributions, and unique strengths. Take a careful look at what you bring to the table. What problems do you solve for your company? How do you make their work easier, their systems smoother, or their profits stronger? When you can clearly articulate your value, you gain the confidence to ask for more and the clarity to know which skills you should develop next. The second step is skill stacking. This is where many people get stuck. They grow comfortable performing the same tasks year after year without realizing that their skill set may slowly become outdated. If you want to earn more, you must continually upgrade yourself. Look closely at the trends in your industry. Which skills are becoming more valuable? What knowledge gaps could you fill that would make you indispensable? Even small improvements like mastering new software, learning negotiation techniques, or sharpening your communication skills can significantly increase your earning potential. Remember, your salary grows when you grow. Here's a powerful shift in perspective. Don't think of yourself only as an employee. Think of yourself as a business of one. You are the CEO of your career, and your employer is simply your current client. Your role is to deliver exceptional value while also planning for future opportunities. When you adopt this mindset, you stop waiting for permission and start taking control. You begin investing in yourself, building meaningful relationships, and making strategic moves that position you for growth. Networking is another essential part of this strategy. Opportunities often come through relationships, not job postings. Yet many people overlook this completely. They stay isolated at work and assume that strong performance alone will open doors. In reality, it rarely works that way. Make it a priority to build genuine connections both inside and outside your company. This doesn't mean being fake or pushy. It means being curious, supportive, and visible. When you consistently offer value to others, those connections naturally grow into bridges, leading to better roles, promotions, and new collaborations. Another important strategy is visibility. Hard work matters, but hard work done quietly often goes unnoticed. Look for ways to highlight your contributions without sounding boastful. Share updates with your team. Volunteer for challenging projects. Make sure the people who make decisions understand the impact you're creating. This isn't about office politics. It's about communication. People simply can't reward what they don't see. When the time comes to ask for a raise or promotion, preparation is everything. Don't just say, "I think I deserve more." Instead, bring evidence, show your results, present data and specific examples of the value you've delivered. Frame the conversation around how paying you more benefits the company, not just you. This transforms the discussion from a personal request into a smart business decision. Even if the answer is no, you'll gain clarity about what to improve and when to ask again. Sometimes the fastest way to increase your salary is to change environments altogether. Loyalty is admirable, but staying too long in one place can limit your growth. If your current company doesn't offer real opportunities to advance, be willing to explore new options. Just as a business pivots to find better markets, you must be open to moving into roles or organizations that properly value your skills. Finally, think long-term. Your career is a marathon, not a sprint. Avoid burning yourself out by chasing every opportunity at once. Instead, focus on steady, strategic progress. Each decision you make, whether it's learning a new skill, stepping into leadership, or switching jobs, should align with your 5-year vision. With each step forward, you're building a foundation that supports not only a higher salary, but also greater freedom and fulfillment. When you begin advancing your career like a strategist, you stop leaving your income to chance. You stop waiting for luck or recognition. Instead, you take control of the game. Over time, these intentional moves begin to compound, just like investments. Your salary grows, your confidence expands, and your opportunities multiply. And when you combine a rising income with the wealth-building habits from earlier chapters, you create an unstoppable momentum towards financial independence. This is how you transform your career into a powerful engine for your future, by playing to win, one strategic move at a time.
Chapter 12. Build a 5-year escape plan. Most people live their entire lives without a clear financial plan. They wake up, go to work, collect a paycheck, pay the bills, and repeat the same cycle year after year. Then one day they look back and realize the decades have passed, and they're still working just to survive. But that doesn't have to be your story. You don't have to spend the rest of your life tied to a job you don't love or constantly worrying about money. But breaking free requires more than hope. It requires a plan, a clear step-by-step roadmap that takes you from where you are today to where you truly want to be. That's where a 5-year escape plan comes in. 5 years might sound like a long time, but think about how quickly the last 5 years of your life passed. The truth is, the next 5 years will move just as fast, whether you plan for them or not. The difference is that with a plan, you can arrive in a completely different financial position. Without one, you'll likely find yourself in the exact same place, or even further behind. The goal of this plan isn't necessarily to quit your job right away, although it could lead to that if that's what you want. The real purpose is freedom. It's about creating options. The option to work because you choose to, not because you have no other choice. Maybe you dream of traveling, maybe you want to start a business, or maybe you simply want the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're financially secure. Whatever your vision looks like, this plan builds the foundation to make it real. Step 1 is clarity. You can't escape a place you haven't clearly defined. Start by taking a brutally honest look at your current financial situation. How much do you earn? How much do you owe? What are your monthly living expenses? And what savings or investments do you already have? Write everything down. This step might feel uncomfortable, but remember, you can't fix what you refuse to face. It's like stepping on a scale before starting a fitness journey. Clarity isn't meant to discourage you. It's meant to show you exactly where you're starting so you can move forward with confidence. Step 2 is setting a target number. Freedom isn't a vague idea, it's a specific figure. How much money would you need saved, invested, or coming in through passive income to feel secure? This doesn't have to be the amount that supports you for the rest of your life. It just needs to be enough to give you breathing room. For some people, that might mean having 6 months of living expenses saved. For others, it could mean reaching a certain level of investments or building a steady stream of side income. For some, that might mean having 6 months of living expenses saved. For others, it could mean reaching a certain level of investments or building a steady stream of side income. Even an extra few $100s a month, consistently saved or invested, can dramatically shorten your timeline. Step 5 is cutting the fat. During the first year, your focus should be on simplifying and optimizing your finances. That means eliminating wasteful expenses, aggressively paying down high-interest debt, and creating a lean financial foundation. The extra money you free up here becomes fuel for the next stages of your plan. Remember, every dollar you save isn't just money sitting in a bank account, it's a small step towards buying back your future freedom. Step 4 is growing your income. You can only reduce expenses so much, but your earning potential has far fewer limits. This is where ideas like advancing your career strategically and earning beyond your paycheck become powerful. Use your current job as a springboard, seek raises, promotions, and bonuses, and direct that additional income straight into savings and investments. At the same time, begin building additional income streams. Side hustles, freelancing, consulting, or small ventures can slowly grow into meaningful sources of income over time. Even an extra few $100s a month, consistently saved or invested, can dramatically shorten your timeline. Step 6 is automatic wealth building. By year 2 or 3, you want systems in place that grow your money with minimal effort. Automate your savings and investments so they happen before you even see the money in your account. This simple system removes the need for constant discipline. It ensures that progress continues even during busy or stressful seasons of life. Over time, those automatic contributions quietly become the engine that drives your financial growth forward. Step 7 is adjust and refine. No plan stays perfect for 5 full years. Life changes, opportunities appear, unexpected challenges happen, and that's completely normal. Every 6 months, set aside time to review your progress. Ask yourself important questions. Are you ahead of schedule or falling behind? Are there new opportunities you should pursue? Does your strategy need to change? These regular check-ins keep you focused and prevent small detours from becoming major setbacks. Finally, step 7 is envisioning your future life. This journey isn't just about numbers, it's about the life you want to create. Where will you live? How will you spend your days? Who will you share that time with? Keep that vision clear in your mind. When the path feels long or the sacrifices feel difficult, that vision will remind you why you started. Picture yourself 5 years from now. You wake up not to the sound of an alarm clock, but to a sense of freedom. Your bills are covered, your debt is gone, your investments are steadily growing. Maybe you still choose to work, but it's work you enjoy, done on your own terms. That vision isn't fantasy, it's simply the natural result of consistent action over time. 5 years will pass no matter what you do. The real question is this: when those 5 years arrive, will you still be in the same place, tied to your paycheck, or will you have built a life where money no longer controls you? Your escape plan begins today, with small, intentional steps. Follow this roadmap, stay committed, and before you know it, you'll be living a life you once believed was impossible. All because you made one powerful decision: to plan your freedom instead of waiting for it.
Chapter 13. Build a fortress around your wealth. You've worked hard to earn your money. You've saved, invested, and made smart decisions to help it grow. But here's a truth many people overlook. Earning wealth is only half the battle. Protecting it is just as important. Imagine spending years building a beautiful house, only to leave the doors unlocked and the windows wide open. It wouldn't matter how strong the walls were. A single storm or a thief could destroy everything overnight. The same thing can happen with your finances if you don't take steps to protect what you've built. Building a financial fortress isn't about living in fear. It's about creating security and peace of mind. It means knowing that no matter what happens, a job loss, a medical emergency, or an economic downturn, your financial future will remain protected. Without safeguards, even a small setback can turn into a major crisis. But with the right protection in place, you can weather life's storms and keep moving forward. The first layer of your fortress is insurance.
Many people see insurance as a boring expense, something they have to pay for but rarely think about. But when disaster strikes, insurance becomes a lifeline. Health insurance protects you from overwhelming medical bills. Life insurance ensures your family is cared for if something happens to you. Home, renters, and auto insurance protect your physical assets from unexpected losses. Think of insurance as the guard standing at the gates of your fortress. You hope you never need it, but you'll be grateful it's there when you do. The key is having enough coverage to protect your essentials without paying for unnecessary extras. The second layer of protection is an emergency fund. This is the moat around your fortress. It keeps small financial fires from spreading into full disasters. When your car breaks down, when an appliance suddenly stops working, or when your job situation changes unexpectedly, an emergency fund gives you breathing room. Without it, you're forced to rely on credit cards or loans, which only push you deeper into debt. Aim to save at least 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses. Keep this money easily accessible, but separate from your everyday spending. It's not meant for vacations or impulse purchases. It's strictly for real emergencies. Next comes diversification. Never place all your wealth in one place. Imagine a fortress with only one wall. If that wall collapses, everything falls apart. Diversification spreads your risk across different areas. This means maintaining a mix of savings, investments, and income streams. If one area takes a hit, the others can help keep you stable. For example, avoid investing all your money in a single stock or industry. Instead, use broad and reliable options like index funds. And if you run a side business or hustle, don't rely on it as your only source of income. Spreading your sources of wealth ensures that no single setback can knock you down. Another important layer is legal protection. This is the hidden structure that keeps your fortress standing strong. Depending on your situation, this may include creating a will, setting up a trust, or making sure your assets are titled correctly. Many people avoid these conversations because they feel uncomfortable or complicated, but ignoring them can create confusion and hardship for your loved ones later. Taking the time to plan now ensures that your wealth is passed on smoothly and securely. Think of it as giving your family a clear map instead of leaving them lost in a maze. You also need to guard against financial predators. Scams, fraud, and identity theft are the modern-day invaders of the financial world. They target people who aren't paying close attention. Be careful with your personal information. Use strong and secure passwords. Monitor your financial accounts regularly and be skeptical of opportunities that sound too good to be true. If someone pressures you to make a quick financial decision, that's often a warning sign. Real wealth grows steadily and quietly, not through fast, risky promises. Finally, the strongest fortress of all is built on discipline. Even with insurance, savings, and legal safeguards in place, the biggest threat to your wealth can sometimes be your own decisions. Emotional reactions, like panic selling during a market drop, overspending during a good year, or chasing flashy new investments, can undo years of progress. That's why discipline matters so much. Set clear rules for how you spend, save, and invest, and follow those rules even when your emotions try to pull you in a different direction. Discipline becomes the invisible shield protecting everything you've worked so hard to build. When all these layers come together, something powerful happens. You gain confidence. You stop living in constant fear of what if. You're able to take smart risks and pursue opportunities because you know you have a safety net behind you. Your wealth becomes a source of strength rather than a source of stress. Now imagine yourself 5 years from today. You've built a solid emergency fund. Your investments are steadily growing. Your family is protected with proper insurance and clear legal plans, and you've developed the discipline to stay calm even when uncertainty appears. That's what a true financial fortress feels like.
It's not about building walls to shut the world out. It's about creating such a strong foundation that no single event can destroy your progress. Wealth without protection is like a castle made of sand. It may look impressive for a moment, but the first wave can wash it away. So, protect what you've worked so hard to build. Strengthen your defenses. Guard your future. When you do, you won't just have money, you'll have something even more valuable: lasting security and peace of mind.
Chapter 14. Teach your family the wealth code. Wealth isn't just about you. It's about the people you love and the generations that will come after you. Too many families spend their entire lives working hard, only to pass down struggle instead of security. They leave behind a few possessions, maybe a small bank account, but not the most valuable gift of all: financial wisdom. If you truly want to change the direction of your family's future, you must do more than simply build wealth. You must teach the wealth code so that what you've learned and built doesn't disappear when you're gone. Think about this for a moment. Many families repeat the same money mistakes for decades simply because no one ever took the time to break the cycle. Debt, poor spending habits, a lack of savings. These aren't just individual problems, they're patterns passed down like an invisible script. If you grew up in a home where money was always scarce or stressful, chances are you absorbed those beliefs without even realizing it. But here's the powerful truth: you can be the one who rewrites that script. You can be the person who says, "It stops with me." From this point forward, our family will know how to create and keep wealth. The first step is open communication. In many households, money is treated like a taboo subject. Parents hide financial struggles from their children, or they simply avoid talking about how money works. As a result, kids grow up unprepared for the real world. They leave home without understanding credit, budgeting, or investing, and they end up repeating the same painful mistakes their parents made. You can break that pattern by being honest. You don't have to share every detail, but involve your family in conversations about money. Teach them that money isn't something to fear or feel ashamed of. It's simply a tool, one that can be learned, understood, and used wisely. Start with the basics. If you have children, show them simple ways to manage money. When they receive money, whether from chores, gifts, or a part-time job, help them divide it into categories: spend, save, and give. This simple habit can shape their financial mindset for life. If you have a spouse or partner, make sure you're aligned on financial goals. Nothing slows down wealth building more than a divided household. When everyone understands the mission, you move forward as a team instead of arguing about money. The second step is teaching values, not just tactics. You can hand someone a pile of money, but without the right mindset, they can lose it just as quickly. True wealth is built on principles like patience, discipline, and delayed gratification. Teach your family why saving matters. Show them how small, consistent actions grow into powerful results over time. And don't be afraid to share your own mistakes. Not to embarrass yourself, but to offer real-life lessons. When your family sees you've struggled, learned, and grown, they'll respect your advice far more deeply. Another important part of the wealth code is creating generational systems. This goes beyond everyday habits. It means building structures that protect and grow your family's resources long after you're gone. This might include creating a will or trust, setting up a family emergency fund, or establishing clear plans for passing down assets. Many families avoid these discussions because they feel uncomfortable, but avoiding them only creates confusion and conflict later. Instead, think of these systems as a gift to your loved ones.
They provide clarity and stability during times when your family will need it most. As you teach your family about money, remember one powerful rule: lead by example. Your actions will always speak louder than your words. If you want your children to respect money, show them how you handle it carefully and responsibly. If you want your partner to feel excited about saving, demonstrate consistency and celebrate progress together. The way you live becomes the quiet lesson your family will carry forward. One helpful practice is holding regular family wealth meetings. These don't need to be formal or intimidating. Perhaps once a month, sit down together and talk about financial goals, progress, and challenges. Celebrate wins like paying off a debt or reaching a savings milestone. Talk about what's working and what needs improvement. Over time, these conversations make money management feel normal and create a sense of shared purpose within your family. Finally, pass down something even more powerful than instructions: a vision. Numbers and strategies are important, but vision inspires action. Paint a clear picture for your family of the future you're building together, a future where money is no longer a constant source of stress, a future filled with opportunity, security, and freedom. A future where each generation builds on the progress of the one before it. When your loved ones can see that vision, they'll have a deeper reason to stay committed to the habits and systems you've taught them. Now imagine this. Decades from today, your grandchildren or even your great-grandchildren benefiting from the lessons you chose to share today. They may never fully understand the sacrifices you made, but they'll live freer and more secure lives because of the foundation you built. That is the true power of teaching the wealth code. It transforms your hard work from a temporary success into a lasting legacy. Building wealth for yourself is admirable, but building wealth and passing on the knowledge to protect it, that's how you create real generational change. Be the teacher, be the guide, be the example your family needs. Show them not just how to make money, but how to think about it, how to respect it, and how to use it to create freedom. When you do this, your legacy won't just be measured in dollars. It will be measured in the lives you've changed, for generations to come. At the heart of everything we've talked about so far, the saving, the investing, the planning, and even the sacrifices, there is one ultimate goal: freedom. Money itself is not the prize. It's not about stacking bills in a vault or watching a big number grow on a screen. The real value of money lies in what it allows you to do. True wealth isn't measured in dollars, it's measured in choices, the ability to live life on your terms without being controlled by fear, debt, or someone else's agenda. Think about how most people live. They wake up to an alarm clock they dread, rush to a job they don't love, and spend their days working for someone else's dream. They feel trapped because they can't afford to take risks. Even when they imagine doing something different, starting a business, traveling the world, or spending more time with family, they push those dreams aside because the bills keep coming. In this situation, their salary ends up owning them instead of the other way around. That isn't freedom, that's survival. But when you build wealth the right way, the entire dynamic changes. Your job becomes a choice rather than a necessity. You no longer have to say yes to toxic environments or opportunities that don't align with your values. You gain the courage to walk away from situations that drain your energy because you know you'll be financially secure. That's what real freedom feels like. And freedom doesn't necessarily mean quitting work altogether. It means choosing the work you want to do, the projects that excite you, and the people you want to serve. It means designing your life instead of simply reacting to it. Freedom also appears in the small, everyday moments of life. It's the peace of mind you feel when an unexpected bill arrives and you can handle it without panic. It's the ability to take a spontaneous trip without relying on a credit card. It's saying yes to meaningful experiences, a family vacation, a personal passion project, or a charitable cause because you've prepared and planned ahead. These small moments are the true rewards of living a disciplined financial life. But there's something important to remember. Freedom doesn't magically appear the day you reach a certain number in your bank account. It grows gradually as you make decisions that align with your values. You don't need millions of dollars to start feeling free. Even small wins, like paying off a debt or saving your first $1,000, can create a powerful sense of progress. Each step forward gives you more breathing room, more options, and more control over your life. That's why the journey matters as much as the destination. Of course, freedom also comes with responsibility. When you're no longer living paycheck to paycheck, it can be tempting to drift into complacency. But true wealth isn't about indulging every desire. It's about living with intention. Ask yourself an important question. What kind of life do I really want to create? Your answer will guide how you use your money. Maybe your vision involves providing a stable and loving home for your family. Maybe it's traveling the world, exploring new cultures and experiences. Or perhaps it's building a business that creates opportunities for others. Whatever your dream looks like, your money becomes the tool that brings it to life, rather than the master that controls you. One of the most fulfilling ways to use financial freedom is by giving back. When you have enough for yourself, you gain the ability to help others. You can support causes you care about, mentor those who are just beginning their journey, or create opportunities for people who haven't yet had the chance. Generosity doesn't just change the lives of others, it also deepens your own sense of purpose. It transforms wealth from a simple number into a powerful force for good in the world. Here's a simple but powerful exercise. Close your eyes and imagine your ideal day 5 or 10 years from now. Where are you waking up? Who is beside you? How are you spending your time? As you picture this moment, notice something interesting. Most of what makes that day meaningful is not tied to possessions. A bigger house or a nicer car might feel exciting for a short time, but what people truly crave is freedom. The freedom to choose, to spend time with loved ones, to explore passions, and to live without constant financial stress. That's the life you are building with every smart financial decision you make today. The road to freedom isn't always easy. Along the way, there will be temptations, setbacks, and moments when discipline feels difficult. But every time you choose discipline over impulse, every time you invest in your future instead of chasing instant gratification, you cast a vote for the life you want. Over time, those votes add up. They create a life that feels lighter, richer, and deeply rewarding. As we close this chapter and this journey, remember one important truth. Wealth is a tool, not the destination. You don't need to become obsessed with money or sacrifice everything you love in order to succeed. You simply need to take consistent, intentional action while keeping your eyes on the bigger picture. The goal isn't to die with the most money in the bank. The goal is to live with the most freedom. To wake up each day knowing that you are in control of your choices, your time, and your future. Your salary may be the starting point, but it's not the limit. With vision, discipline, and persistence, you can transform it into a powerful engine for independence. And when you finally experience that freedom, when you can breathe deeply, make bold decisions, and live fully, you'll realize that every step, every sacrifice, and every smart choice was worth it. Because freedom isn't just the true purpose of wealth, it's the true purpose of life itself.
Conclusion. You began this audiobook with a simple but powerful idea that your salary
The very thing many people see as a limitation can actually become the key to building wealth and freedom. Along the way, we explored the habits, strategies, and mindsets that can transform an ordinary paycheck into an extraordinary life. Now, as we bring this journey to a close, I want to leave you with something even more important than tactics. I want to leave you with belief. Most people never become wealthy not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack vision. They don't believe it's possible for them. They assume wealth is reserved for the lucky few, the business owners, the trust fund heirs, or the overnight success stories. But the truth is very different. Wealth is built by ordinary people making extraordinary decisions consistently over time. Every chapter you've heard was designed to show you that the power to change your financial future is already in your hands. It begins with clarity, facing the truth about where you are today and refusing to ignore it. It grows through mindset, learning to think like the wealthy and seeing your salary as a tool instead of a trap. Step by step, you begin taking control. You pay yourself first. You eliminate debt. You protect your money and turn expenses into investments. You increase your income, expand your skills, and create additional streams of revenue. And as you do these things, something incredible happens. You don't just earn more money, you earn freedom. But money isn't only about numbers, it's about purpose. It's about creating stability for the people you love, teaching your family the wealth code so the next generation can thrive, and using your resources to make a meaningful difference in the world. Money is simply a tool. How you use it determines whether it becomes a chain that holds you back or a key that unlocks your future. Take a moment and imagine yourself 5 years from now. Imagine that you've applied these principles consistently, even when it wasn't easy. Picture the debt gone, the savings growing, and the stress replaced with confidence. Imagine waking up one day and realizing you don't have to go to work. You choose to. That feeling of independence, that deep breath without the weight of financial anxiety, is worth every sacrifice and every intentional step you begin taking today. Remember, this journey isn't about perfection. You don't need to do everything at once or get everything right the first time. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Every good decision builds on the last. Each time you choose discipline over impulse and long-term vision over short-term pleasure, you cast a vote for the future you want. And over time, those votes create unstoppable momentum. So as we close, remember this simple truth. Your salary is not a ceiling, it's a foundation. It's the seed that, when planted and nurtured, can grow into something far greater than you ever imagined. Don't let anyone convince you that you're stuck or that you need to wait for a miracle. You are the miracle. Your decisions, your habits, and your persistence will create wealth that lasts not just for you, but for generations. Take action today. Start small if you must, but start. Pay yourself first, track your spending, and begin investing in your future. With every step, you'll feel a shift, a growing sense of control and hope. And one day, you'll look back and realize that you didn't just build a strong financial foundation, you built a life of purpose, security, and freedom. Wealth is possible for you. Freedom is possible for you. The only question left is whether you'll take what you've learned and put it into motion. The power is in your hands. Your journey begins now. Go build the life you deserve, and never forget that the true purpose of money is to help you live boldly, generously, and completely free.